Hi, Neville Martin here with a quick demo of some new guitars from Gibson. These are a kind of reissue of the Faded series that were first released about 2005 and ran till about 2009 or so. These were really popular with guitarists back then because they offered a stripped down version of the classic standard Les Paul. So they're more or less the same as the classic 50s and 60s that we've been used to lately. But they're very, very stripped down, no pickup covers, no pick guards, although there will be a pick guard in the case apparently. Very, very thin nitro finish, almost like a blowover. This has got a very, very faded indeed finish. So the sunburst is almost non-existent. Around the back, it's just the standard mahogany back and neck, literally blown over. It's very open pore grain, but it is really nicely done. It's very flat and just a little bit of open pore in the mahogany, but very tated little guitars actually. This one is the 50s. There's a 50s and a 60s, and I've also got an SG61 SG standard with a Maestro Vibrola on it. On the 50s model we have a Burstbucker 1, Burstbucker 2 in neck and bridge, a three-way selector as usual, and the usual 2 volumes and 2 tones, and that's what you get. Works exactly like every other Les Paul pretty much on the planet. Very simple to use. Fingerboard is rosewood as you'd expect with trapeze pearloid inlays. Les Paul script, Gibson inlay, Clousson type tulip machine heads, and there we go. Very, very simple guitar. What I like about it is it's a no-nonsense. It's a no-nonsense thing. It's not pretending to be anything other than the most basic thing. I mean, the idea when they first came out was apparently that it would be a great thing for modding and basically perhaps adding custom shop kind of appointments to it if you wanted, but they're perfectly fine as they are. You don't need to do that. Okay, I'll give you some sounds just very briefly. Here's the bridge pickup. I've got it on about 5 there on the volume control, so it's cleanish. Classic Les Paul bridge pickup. Both pick on together. Neck pickup. If I turn that bridge pickup up a bit, you can see it sounds exactly like a Les Paul's supposed to sound. A real proper sounding beefy guitar that does everything you expect from a Les Paul. I'll go over to the 60s one now and just give you a similar rundown on that. So here's the 60s version of the same thing. You'll notice this one's got the metal top controls, where the other one's got the bonnet type, the 50s style. Again, no covers on the pickups, no pick guard. Standard bridge and tailpiece lineup that you always get on a Les Paul. This one's got Grovers on Grover tuners, which many guitars of the 60s used to get done to. I did it on quite a few myself over the years. I shudder to admit, but it's true. This is again the same deal with the finish. Very thin nitro open pore finish. Obviously the pores on the maple aren't as open because it's not such an open grained timber. Nicely joined down the centre. Both guitars are nicely joined down the centre. There's a nice bit of flaming on there, not overly done. You wouldn't really want it, I don't think, with a satin finish like this. But it's a very attractive guitar. It's not quite as bright and bilious. It's kind of like a tomatoey kind of burst. This one has got burst bucker 61 rhythm and burst bucker 61 treble here, slightly different to the other one, and the guitar does sound slightly different. I think it sounds slightly brighter and slightly, yeah, that's definitely brighter than the 50s model. Still very nice though. And here we are on both pickups together. And neck. Very sweet, mellow sound. Again, as you'd expect. There's nothing different here. Nice bit of rosewood to the board. It's nice and dark. It would probably benefit from a bit of oil, as most new guitars do. A bit of lemon oil or something like that. The binding on this one's a bit, there's a bit of a ridge on this binding. That could have done with a little bit more fettling. Just a minute or two with some sandpaper or something. The actions are pretty low on both guitars. In fact, I like a low action, but the treble strings on both guitars are a little bit low for me. But that does mean that they'll go low without buzzing, which is a great sign of a good neck. So that's pretty much that. Usual 2 black back plates, single piece necks apart from the little add-ons at the side of the wings, which you always get on a Gibson guitar. There's very little more to say about this. This is a little bit heavier than the 50s model, I'd say. What's nice about these is you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, they're £2,000 plus, these guitars. I think the 50s and 60s Les Paul are 2169 UK pounds. And even though that's a fair bit of money, it's not 4.5, 5, 6 or whatever for a custom shop one. So you're less concerned about having any problems with it, banging it or dinging it. In fact, it might be quite nice to get it battle worn a bit. I'll put this one down and pick up the 61 SG Standard now. Okay, now we come to the 61 SG Standard, which I'm sure those of you who know will know that it should really have been a Les Paul in 61, but so what? It's a 60s it's a generally 60s guitar, so obviously after that time it became the SG, and they're mostly known as an SG, so absolutely fine by me. This one actually is my favourite by far of the 3 instruments. It looks the most convincing. It's the right cherry colour for an SG, so at first you don't look at it as being unusual. If it were light pink, you think, what on earth's that? But it's that lovely rich cherry red, so you don't really see so much that it's satin and it's very thin skin. It is satin and thin skin, but there's still a degree of reflection from it, I think more so than the Les Pauls. It's lovely with the open top pickups as well. Because many SGs did have their pickups taken off certainly in the 60s and 70s, and it's got the small pick guard and the little guard there for spacing the neck pickup away from the neck. Obviously the pickup is further into the guitar than on Les Paul, because if it were right up at the neck there, there'd be no structural integrity left in the guitar at all, because you'd have to be taking all this wood away, and it's lightly enough built already. So this gives the SG, apart from its slightly less mass, quite a lot less mass than a Les Paul, it gives it a very different sound. That pickup being closer to the bridge pickup, it gives it a lighter, less ballsy sound. Well, I say ballsy, it's not the right word. It's very ballsy. It's not quite as fat a neck pickup sound. It's a lighter neck pickup sound. So that gives the guitar an overall lighter tone than a Les Paul. This has got the Maestro Vibrola on it, which is a pretty nice arm actually. This hasn't been played very much, so I'm not going to start waggling it too much, because the strings aren't probably bedded in yet enough. I'll give it a little waggle. That's really, really lovely actually. This is a very light guitar. You could hang this around your neck all day and not worry about it. Obviously an SG, the neck joins the body at the 22nd fret, so you have this entire neck at your disposal, unlike the Les Paul, which has got the 16th fret neck joint, 17th fret neck joint. You're much more limited up there. Not that it stopped many people in the past, like Page and Slash and so on, but the SG is completely clear. And I think it's why Angus Young liked the SG so much, because A, it's a light in weight, he's a small guy, but he did lots of stuff where he used the whole of the neck brilliantly, as did Clapton back in the 60s with Cream, of course. So this is a very, very cool guitar indeed. The 60s style knobs with the metal inserts at the top. Again, the same three-way switch. Of course, it's down here and not up there. You can look at the back there. It's just a very attractive thing. It's a very attractive guitar. Again, similar tuners to the 50s Les Paul, the Kluson style. It's very nicely made. I mean, they're all very nicely made. There's no, apart from that, the slight ridge on the 50s Les Paul. This is really nice. No problem at all. Again, nice dark rosewood. It's got the classic crown trapezoid inlays. Really nice guitar, very nice guitar. This, I think any lover of SGs would be quite happy with a guitar like this. This is £18.99 UK pounds, so it's about £300 less than the two Les Pauls, and it would get my money out of the three, and most definitely. Okay, I'll give you some sounds. This is the neck pickup with the volume on about 5 and the tone control flat out. So. Very mellifluous, sweet kind of sound. Bridge pickup. Both pickups on. Both pickups on. It's a sound I really like. It's a quacky kind of sound. There's always a bit of country to this sound. I'll turn the bridge pickup up to 10 and just give you a quick burst of that. There's a nice bit of spite in that. I'll do the same with the bridge, with the neck rather. Very Clapton-y. This is a very, very cool guitar indeed. there's little more I can say about this than I think it's a really, really great guitar. Gibson have done a great job. In fact, you know, as I said earlier on, these guitars were very popular when they came out in the early 2000s, and it's great that Gibson's brought them out again, because it allows you to buy a pretty tasty guitar for quite a lot less money than the fully finished gloss ones that cost a deal more than this. And I could happily take this guitar out on a pub gig. I'd love it. Very, very nice guitar. And I think with this guitar especially, with the covers off, it just makes it look mean and purposeful, and I love it. I think Gibson's done a great job. As I say, they were popular when they first came out, and I think it's great that Gibson have brought them out again. I can see a lot of people getting turned onto these guitars. Very nice indeed.